guys, it's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. Now, we did speak about something a little bit scary happening in the stock markets, right? We talked about some similarities between what we were seeing with the previous monthly close that we just had versus what we had down here before the massive COVID crash. Now, we do know that maybe this had something to do with the variant news coming out. Also, the fact that the talk of negative interest rates have actually been thrown around as well, but this is more of a crypto channel, as you guys know, and having a look at Bitcoin still cannot get back above the $60,000 level. We continuously are getting rejected and we're unable to break higher highs. So the biggest question is, are we having that Santa Claus rally? Are we going to that $75,000 level, or are we going to lose structure and potentially end up coming all the way back down somewhere to these lower levels, even to around the $45,000 level? Now, there is something right now happening in Bitcoin that does suggest that there could be one more major flush out before we have the massive break to the upside. And I do want to talk about that today in the video. And something else I want to mention as well is when it comes to crypto investing, you know, a lot of times people just sort of jump on any train they can find. They hop on trends, which isn't always a bad thing, but oftentimes investors will lose money by sort of aping into these coins that are pumping, or somebody was talking about it. They said, hey, buy this, buy that. But there is a time-tested strategy that we've gone over multiple times on this channel that has been excellent for maximizing gains. And I am going to talk about that again in today's video. And not only that, I'm going to give you a few examples of altcoins, crypto projects that you could invest in that totally fit this criteria right now. And if you're interested in that, make sure you stick around to the end of the video, because I'm going to give you a lot of potential examples and different projects that I personally have been looking in. And finally, another bit of conspiracy type news is, has the federal government in the US actually secretly started mining Bitcoin? So we're going to go over all that today. Of course, we're going to go over the short-term price action, long-term price action. We're going to talk about some of these projects, and then we're going to get into some pretty awesome news. So if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you are not subscribed, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and also don't forget, guys, to check out the free Telegram group that we do run. Links are below. And if you guys didn't watch this video, I know people are freaking out about, you know, maybe a big drawdown in Bitcoin price, but I literally watched this video, this interview with Michael Saylor that he did with Tucker Carlson. And if you have not seen this video, you need to check it out. It is an amazing interview. And if you have any skeptical friends that are still asking about, you know, is Bitcoin safe? Why do we need Bitcoin? I highly recommend you guys check this out. This is over on my Twitter. Shameless plug if you guys are interested. Definitely go follow me over on Twitter. Obviously, that's a place where I can put out more information when I'm unable to make these videos. So thank you for sticking around for the intro. And I know without further ado, you guys are interested in what is happening right now in the Bitcoin chart. Now, we have had a beautiful bounce at this support, but how long will this support hold, and what would happen potentially if we did break structure and we did come down here? Now, ultimately, even if we were to come down to this VPVR level right here at around 46,900, as I've been saying, I still would maintain bullishness for Bitcoin as long as we don't fall below this level right here, which is around the $41,000 level. And the reason for that is because then if we came down here, we would actually be putting in a lower low. And yeah, that would not exactly be good for Bitcoin, right? Although who knows, maybe we form a giant falling wedge and then that's the blast off pattern. Who knows? But as of right now, structure has not been broken. I can't stop saying that enough. I sound like a broken record, but it's because it's true. The thing that's happening right now is Bitcoin is having some heavy resistance, and we're also seeing a little bit of selling pressure as well. But you can see that every time Bitcoin gets to the end of this move right here, we do have the breakout. So that could potentially take us to mid-December. I mean, Bitcoin could still consolidate until mid-December, around December 17th, before seeing that big move, and that could bring us back down to those levels we spoke about. As I said, even the low 50,000s is still bullish for Bitcoin price action. Essentially, what we've been doing is just sort of putting in these constant falling wedges. You can see we had a falling wedge here, breakout, falling wedge here. Are we going to have the breakout? Well, we don't know yet. But one thing that we can talk about specifically is if I actually get rid of all this, I just want to point out the moving averages. Now you can see right here that we have been wedged between the 100 daily and the 21 exponential, which is a very similar situation that we had back here when we were consolidating at the end of September, right? Now we did have a pullback after we tapped the 21 exponential, which is this green line. You can see right here, we came down and retested the 100 again. Now the 100 today is sitting at around 54,000. So it would potentially be a possibility to see Bitcoin come back down to those levels again, right? But a lot of you are probably asking me, hey, K-Dub, didn't you say $75,000 by the end of this year? Well, obviously, we weren't expecting there to be news about yet another variant coming out. And, you know, like I said, the talk of the inflation rates. And you got to pay attention to also traditional markets as well, because let's be honest, there's a lot of institutional investors that have bought Bitcoin, and just because they're in Bitcoin doesn't mean that they're going to see things the way that we do. They're still going to treat it the way that they do traditionally, right? Now, just to kind of talk about it, I've been wrong before, right? So I actually, back in November 16th of 2019, almost a year before the event, said that Bitcoin could hit $55,000 by the end of the year. Now, just to put that into perspective, when I actually spoke about that back in November of that year, Bitcoin was sitting at around $7,000. Now, people thought that was a very crazy price prediction. Now, as you can see right here, we actually closed the year at $29,000, and obviously everybody said, well, CryptoZombie, you were wrong about your prediction. But what ended up happening literally 2 months later, in February of the following year, we got as high as $57,700. So I was only 2 months off on that prediction that I made an entire year before. So having a look at Bitcoin maybe potentially not hitting $75,000 exactly on December 31st, okay, fine, but I still am extremely bullish for Q1 and Q2 of next year. So even if the $75,000 target gets pushed off by 2 months, at the end of the day, the way that I look at it is it's just more time to accumulate, right? Also, guys, I'm a human. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't really know exactly what the price is going to be, but a $75,000 Bitcoin target within the next 2 to 3 months is most certainly attainable, and I do think we will see that. So, you know, might just be a couple months late like I was before. Yeah, this was a fun time over on Crypto Potato, though. I did enjoy this interview that we did. If you guys haven't seen that interview, you can go Google it if you're interested. This was back in 2019. But there is something right now that is a little bit scary, and that is all of the futures open interest. You can see that the open interest right now is extremely high for Bitcoin, and historically speaking, this usually tends to allude to the fact that there may need to be a washout in the markets. That's exactly what Will Clemente says right here. So we may have to do sort of just one more reset. I mean, there's been a lot of people getting into crypto, a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon, you know, thinking that they're just going to make millions of dollars overnight, and let's be honest, that's not how markets work. And if there was one final shakeout, it would sort of get rid of those, weak hands, and it would flush out the leverage, especially everyone that's, trying to go long, as well as, just all of this speculative sort of price action that we've been seeing over the past few months. And then in that scenario, yes, that would allow a beautiful reset for the market, and then we could continue higher. Now, on the flip side, there is actually something positive that we can talk about. So, not to spread FUD and say, oh, we're going to have this giant crash. That's not what I'm saying, guys. I'm just trying to point out what I'm seeing on the charts here. But like Glassnode pointed out, the average spent output lifespan has returned to a relatively low level of 35 days after peaking in late October. So the ASOL trends higher as older coins spend, taking profits. So they point out that during corrections, declining ASOL is a signal investor confidence is improving and fewer coins are spent. So we're seeing a little bit of, mixed signals right here. On one hand, we're seeing that we do have very high open interest. We could be looking for another one of those quick flush outs, get rid of the leverage. But on the other hand, we are seeing investor confidence in Bitcoin actually growing, right? So that's just something to mention. Now, before we get on to the topic of how to maximize gains in crypto with examples, if you're interested, I do want to just talk about the fact that the United States government may already be mining Bitcoin, according to an industry insider and government advisor, Whit Gibbs, the CEO of Compass Mining. He says they might have 10 to 20 watts running somewhere in the Midwest US to test it out. Maybe it's hypothetically speaking, but it's a matter of national security. It is the future financial instrument that many, many things are going to be built on top of. Nations would have to be absolutely out of their mind to not be getting some exposure to the underlying infrastructure in which it supports. So the US, I think, is on the front foot. Now, I personally do believe that they are already mining Bitcoin. I mean, the US has already come out and said they're not looking to ban Bitcoin. And I hear some people getting frustrated over the idea that Bitcoin is not considered a currency, but actually the fact that it's considered an asset or it's considered property is really kind of better because it's not making that competition between Bitcoin and the US dollar. And also for tax purposes, it's a lot better to be sitting in an asset than sitting in a currency because you're going to owe that tax on the currency, whereas with the underlying asset, you don't owe taxes until you actually sell that asset into fiat money, right? He says we had a lot of conversations with the government in DC, state governments to help educate them, but they are very forward thinking when it comes to supporting this. So it does look like things are looking on the up and up for Bitcoin, right? It doesn't look bad for Bitcoin. Obviously, a lot of these other cryptocurrencies, they fall under SEC jurisdiction. I don't really know what's going to come of that. But as far as Bitcoin is concerned, we know that there is interest and they are looking to further build out the infrastructure and most likely are probably already mining it, right? So with that being said, what I would like to talk about today specifically is, actually one more quick story. I thought this was pretty cool. So we heard about Jack Dorsey, right? He just recently stepped down from Twitter, and some people thought this was a bad thing, but keep in mind, he is still the CEO of Square, which, by the way, Square has actually changed their name to Block. Still kind of in the square universe, right? Because blocks are squares from the front, if you look at them, right? But why are they doing this? Well, they go on to give a bunch of examples saying, referencing the neighborhood blocks we find our sellers, a blockchain, block parties full of music, obstacles to overcome, a section of code, building blocks, of course, and their favorite music video, Jenny from the Block by J-Lo. No, I don't know. But essentially, come on, let's be real, guys. Block, I think it was done for crypto. I think that Jack Dorsey realizes the need to build that infrastructure for crypto payments specifically. And obviously, as far as they're concerned, he is a very Bitcoin-only kind of guy. But at the end of the day, this is good news. So now, talking about how to maximize gains in crypto. So as I said earlier in the video, yes, we often do tend to just jump into these projects because people talk about them. I mean, sometimes with great, power is great responsibility. Now, I'm by no means the biggest crypto YouTuber, but, I also am very cautious of the things I speak about because there are people that watch this show and will just instantly buy something because I mentioned it, right? So how can you maximize gains? Well, you have to look at who made the most money, not only in traditional markets, but even in crypto. It was the early adopters of Bitcoin, the early adopters of Ethereum, the early investors in stocks like, for example, when Facebook went public or even Amazon and things of that nature, which is why I try to tell you guys as early as I possibly can about projects so you can get in either A, before anyone's talking about them, B, before they launch, or C, maybe potentially after they've come out and have had massive dumps and everyone's forgotten about it, and that's when you buy at the bottom, right? One of the projects that I told you guys about was Symbiosis, and I told you about this way before anything even happened. And the reason for this is because I believe that if we're going to move forward in cryptocurrency and we're going to try to have all these different types of blockchains and payment systems and NFTs and games, and we have Solana and Avalanche and just all these different blockchains, we need to have a liquidity that you can have across any chain. And I do believe that Symbiosis could potentially be setting themselves up to be that go-to network for these inter-blockchain transfers, right? Now, I told you guys about the Bybit Launchpad. That's pretty much ending, so I hope you guys had an opportunity to get in on that. If you didn't have an opportunity, you can still get those bonuses on Bybit and Femex. There's over $7,000 in bonuses. In fact, I actually think it's even higher today. I didn't even check. I didn't update the bonus rewards. But if you guys are interested, check those links below in the description. But, getting back to this, so they do have it on Bybit. It is coming out on gate.io. So, obviously, if you didn't have a chance to get into this to me is a potentially long-term hold anyway, regardless of what happens to the price. If the price dumps as soon as it comes out, really doesn't matter to me because this is something that truly interests me specifically. So Symbiosis Finance is definitely one to look for. Now, we spoke about Merit Circle on the channel the other day. Now, they have dumped 20% today. Now, could this be the sell the news rumor or sell the news event that, introducing Merit Circle on Binance Launch Pool? Who knows? I don't really know what's happening right here. But if you actually just come down here and still just have a look at what it's been doing since the start, it has had these dumps. It had one back on, November 25th, where it went from $10 all the way down to $7.99. We had one back here where it went from 7 all the way down to 5. But really, this area back here where it started, when you could still buy this for around the $2 level, was really where you wanted to get in. And this was a opportunity for investors to get in. It was one of those auctions that they held, and people were buying into this and they were watching the price go up. So if you feel that maybe you missed the boat on this one, right? Like I said, this is a bit of a little bit of a risky play. Here is another great opportunity. So Astra Guild Ventures is also doing something quite similar. And I have recently been sort of attracted to this idea of guilds and what they could do for the space. In fact, if you come over here and you have a look, by the way, they say a DAO that bridges players and investors to capture the rise of the NFT games. And this is exactly what we spoke about the other day. This is a pitch deck you can find on the website, and it does explain the problem is that they have money to invest, but they don't have time to learn, or they don't know how to manage their NFTs. Also, high cost of owning NFTs, asset, and lack of knowledge, right? So if we scroll down here, they say the solution is that AGV connects investors and players to maximize earning opportunities of NFT assets. So Astra Guild Ventures is an organization that rents out NFT assets to its guild members in exchange for a portion of their earnings. So as I said in the other video, you may say to yourself, well, why do we have a need for this? Well, like I said, maybe somebody's just playing a game for a short period of time and they don't necessarily need this specific item for, too long. And rather than pay the full price for it, because we know that the prices of these things can become astronomical, what do? You just rent it for the day, right? My dad does landscaping. If he's doing a landscaping job and he needs to rent a giant excavator for, a couple days, why is he going to spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars buying one when he could just rent one for a few $1,000s because he only needs it for a couple days, right? So this is exactly what they're trying to do. And as I've been saying, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what you could potentially do with these types of guilds. So Astra Guild Ventures, you can go over to astraguild.io. And they have their public sale December 10th to December 16th, right? So this is the opportunity to get in before everyone else. That's why I'm sharing these things with you. Do your own research. Never buy anything just because I'm talking about it. I'm not one of those channels that just wants to shill coins to everybody. No, I want you to position yourself so you can get in at the best time. And the best time to get in is right in the beginning or when nobody's talking about it, right? Now, there are some projects that a lot of people are in fact talking about. One of those projects is VLaunch, right? Very mysterious. This is their website, not much going on. Now, it's no surprise, and I have been very upfront that I have in fact partnered with VLaunch. They are going to be doing some very incredible things in the future. So I do stand by this, and for me, VLaunch will be a long-term hold, but why am I bringing this up to you? Well, because right now they have, if you go over to their Twitter, or more specifically, actually head on over to their their Telegram chat, they are literally going to be airdropping free tokens. They're doing all these different giveaways. You can literally just go over, get involved, and they are giving out free tokens. So no upfront risk, okay? Free tokens. Now you might be saying, well, if they're airdrops, isn't everybody just going to dump it? You would think that. But historically, and I've been around for over 5 years in the space, I can tell you that that's not the case. I remember Ontology did the airdrop, okay? You might not remember Ontology, and that came out, it was about $1. That did a 10x. What about Uniswap? People got free airdrops of Uniswap, right? They didn't have to do anything. They just got free airdrops for using Uniswap. And guess what? That token skyrocketed as well. Not to mention, if you're a fan of how the whole Richard Hex crypto came to be, essentially anyone that was a Bitcoin holder got free airdrops of Hex, right? And look at what happened to the price of Hex. So I would not underestimate airdrops, and they are giving away lots of free tokens. Check out VLaunch. It is a project that I'm very, very interested in, and as you guys know, I have partnered with them. Just full transparency, because what they are doing, and I'm not going to go into too much of it, but I can tell you it's definitely going to be very groundbreaking in the space. Also, speaking, and I know I'm going fast, but like I said, do your own research. Another app, now here is one of those things where we can actually take advantage of hype on something that has yet to come out. Now you can see right here, before we even get into Costa, they were the second most searched token over here, according to Bitcoin Census, and they actually surpassed Shiba Inu, which was pretty crazy considering all of the madness that's been going on with Shiba Inu recently. And essentially, these guys are trying to create the ultimate crypto app. Now, there are a lot of investors. You guys may be familiar with Crypto Banter. Banter Capital is involved in this. We have Ivan over at Morales, right? And essentially what they're trying to do is create a seamless app that anyone can use. You don't have to have any knowledge of the blockchain. You don't need to have any, special instructions and follow this and change to this mainnet and do this and all these other things. So they're also looking to potentially come out with a debit card as well, a buy now, pay later option. You can earn passive income with yields. And of course, the thing that makes me most excited is the Easy Swap engine, right? I love easy swaps. I love when you can go on some of these centralized exchanges and you can just swap rather than having to trade. Of course, there is a fee involved, but it is very, very simple. And anyone can just say, hey, I have this token. I want to get this token, swap it, right? Except the difference is if you do that on Uniswap, you're looking at paying anywhere between $100 to $300 fee for doing this. Whereas over here, their thing is that they're trying to do this instantly and for free. So this is why a lot of people have been interested in the Costa app, and this could be an excellent opportunity to keep your eyes on, especially if you can get in at that early launch before, right? I've actually had an opportunity to meet the team when I went to Dubai. And I met Carl, and you can see down here, we also have Kyle and Jordan from TMG, who is a very awesome guy. He's super into altcoins and maybe even way more into altcoins than I am. And he's a really awesome dude. He does his research, and I do trust his opinion when he talks about things. I mean, to be totally transparent, me and him had been talking about Elrond back when Elrond was still an ERC20 token. And even when Elrond had gone to its all-time high of around $25 and it started to pull back, a lot of people were saying that was it for Elrond. Well, Elrond, you guys know what Elrond did, right? So this is another one to definitely keep your eyes on as well. And one project, this would fit into my third category of how to maximize gains, is these projects that come out and they dump, right? Or let's say they have a huge VC investor unlock and, they all get their tokens and they sell. Well, that could potentially what could be happening right now for tryhards. Now, I've already gone over tryhards in a previous video. If you didn't have an opportunity to get in on that, having a look at what's happening right now, if we just have a look at the chart, you'll see this is down 18%. And look at this. This has been a massive sell-off. It did have a little bit of this was probably some investors selling right here. And now we've gone down to about 42 cents after already seeing a high of about 90 cents. So this is also other opportunities that you can look for, right? Look for projects that have had hard sell-offs or projects that maybe their investors did dump it, right? Good. Let those guys get out, let them miss out, and then you are able to get in on this. Now, I'm not saying to just go buy this right now. They have a fully diluted valuation of about 88 million, which to be totally honest is still pretty damn low considering, and it's probably lower than that right now for the actual market cap. The 24-hour trading volume is a little bit lower than I would like. It's below $1 million, which does mean that there is not as much liquidity right now, there's, as we would like, which is probably why you're seeing these intense moves that you're seeing. But, these are just examples of, the times, the opportunities that you want to look. Of course, you can just ride the Shiba Inu wave. You can hope that, the green candle continues to pump. But sort of the more dare I say, safe in crypto, because nothing is ever safe. But generally, the earlier you can get in, or, for example, if you see that they're obviously clearly selling these tokens, they're dumping these tokens, right? That's not a bad thing. It just means that people that wanted to get in and flip it quick, who don't believe in the project, well, they're out, and now this allows us to build the base for the investors that actually do, right? So those are just a few projects I wanted to bring up to you today, guys. And but it does come with a warning. It does come with a warning, because anything I talk about on this channel, regardless of who I've spoken to or what these people say about it or all the research that I have personally done, at the end of the day, anything, especially when it's a startup, especially when it's young, is risky. Badger DAO just got hacked for $120 million. So this is a protocol that allows users to use Bitcoin as collateral across DeFi projects. They have been exploited. Reports started to emerge earlier today that the DeFi protocol was exploited, with the most predominant theory indicating that the hack was against Badger DAO's user interface, not in the core protocol contracts. Its engineers have started an investigation and have paused all smart contracts in the meantime to prevent further withdrawals. However, they have not updated on this yet. Now, maybe by the time of this video, maybe everything is clear. Maybe we have a clear idea of what happened and why it happened. But nevertheless, this is the risk that you take when you're getting involved in these speculative cryptos, right? Also, the token did take a bit of a tumble. It was down about 20% when I checked earlier. I don't know if it's recovered yet, but just be careful. You guys remember what happened to the Squid Game token, right? You guys remember. So you have to be careful and understand that any of these are very risky, but the risk versus reward is something that you have to analyze for yourself. You could lose everything, but you could also make 100x. You see what I'm trying to say? So is it a gamble? Yeah, kind of is a gamble, but investing is sort of a gamble, isn't it, guys? So that's all I want to really say about that. And I did just want to end on a bit of pretty funny news coming out of the Facebook camp. So Meta announced Wednesday that Facebook has dramatically expanded its eligibility for digital assets advertising as the crypto landscape has continued to mature. So ads were pretty much banned on their platform in January of 2018 when they had the ICO bubble. And at that point, they only had 3 specific licenses that you had to have. And if you didn't have those, you couldn't run an ad. Well, now they've upped it going forward to 27 different ones. And they said this change will help make our policy more equitable and transparent and allow for a greater number of advertisers, including small businesses, to use our tools and grow their business. And, let's just be 100% honest. Facebook, Meta, Metaverse, come on, guys. It's basically asking, it's like a marriage made in heaven, right? Crypto, how could crypto not be a part of the metaverse? Come on. We all know it's going to be there. We all know Facebook is going to come out with some kind of coin or token. I don't know what happened with Libra. That fell to the wayside. But at the end of the day, guys, crypto is here to stay. And friendly reminder, if you didn't watch this video that I just retweeted over on my Twitter, please go watch it. Michael Saylor, phenomenal video. It's a little bit long. Watch it at 1.75x. Show a friend, show a skeptical family member. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Hope you weren't spooked out by the potential of a flush out. We may not get it. It may not happen. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin is still, in my opinion, the greatest hedge against all of the madness that is happening out in the world today. And with that, my friends, I will leave you. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. My name is CryptoZombie. My name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. You can call me CryptoZombie if you want. And of course, if you haven't seen these videos popping up right here, right now, make sure you stick your fingers right there. Check them out. You're going to learn something today. And until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.